So do you remember those American Olympic athletes that were pretty disrespectful to the American flag while representing America at the Olympics? Basically, their entire life is funded by the American taxpayers. Yeah, those people, well, there's actually an update. One of them doubles down and gives the middle finger to all of the United States and then doesn't end up winning a gold medal. And then another Olympic athlete actually ends up wrapping herself in the American flag. Her and her father wrap themselves in the American flag while she celebrates winning, I believe it's gold. So we're going to be taking a look at that. Also, in a matter of less than 12 hours, the United States and Canada for men's hockey are going to be facing off for gold. And that's, well, probably going to be pretty intense. So if you are going to tune into that, well, I highly recommend you do. Let me know which team you're cheering for. Then we have a massive update with Iran. We have also the tariffs that Trump imposed on, I think, the entire world yesterday or the day prior for 10%. It's now been upped to 15%. There's a lot to take a look at in this video. There's a lot of bad to take a look at in this video. And here's the only good to take a look at in this video. Do you remember not too long ago in Canada, there was a school shooting that took place in northern BC from a transformer? Well, one person that was hit was a 12-year-old girl, Maya, and she's been in the hospital, not responsive, having to, breathe with the ventilators and the machines and all that. And now is the first step in the right direction that we've actually had of this 12-year-old girl that has actually shown, positive signs.
Hey. Hey, baby. Hey.
So an eye open.
You're so big. Her eye is open, and she's responding.
That's
and
the
moving
mother.
Around. And she is moving her hands. But her eye is open. Yeah.
God bless her, and God bless the family and all the victims of that. That, unfortunately, is the only good news in this video, so I front-loaded it.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing.
Saturday, U.S. President Donald Trump acted on that disappointment, announcing new 15% temporary tariffs on imports to the United States, up from an initial 10% in response to Friday's Supreme Court ruling that most of his sweeping tariffs put into place last year are illegal. Tariffs that have had an outsized impact on small business owners like Jeff Grove of Railway City Hobbies in St. Thomas.
In a normal business year or normal business week, I ship roughly 10 packages to the United States. Since then, it's basically nil.
As Grove explains, he and other small business owners in Canada that import products from China get hit with tariffs in the U.S. en route to their shops up north, resulting in cost increases for both the seller and the buyer. The question now is what's next? With Trump's sweeping tariffs now null and void, many are seeking a refund for...
No. The tariffs are not null and void. That's such typical misrepresentation of the facts by Canadian media. What's happening is the way that President Trump went about the tariffs, the courts deemed that ineligible, but the tariffs can absolutely say no refund is needed if President Trump restructures the reasoning behind the tariffs. At the end of the day, the tariffs are there to stay. They're not going anywhere. This video is sponsored by Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is my go-to VPN for many different reasons. It makes me feel safe when I'm browsing the internet. So it allows me to hide my identity as well as make sure that the government isn't stealing my information and selling it to a bunch of private companies. It also gives me the ability to go on Netflix, Hulu, and all of the streaming platforms and take a look at content that wouldn't be available in Canada. So if I want to watch American content on Netflix, I can easily just boot up Private Internet Access. Some countries around the world, just like Canada, ban people from being able to view the news. So having a VPN like Private Internet Access allows you to get past that barrier. One subscription to Private Internet Access covers all of your devices. In fact, it's actually unlimited amount of devices, which is pretty freaking cool. If you want to take back control of your identity and your personal information when browsing online, then private internet access is the VPN for you. If you click the link down below in the description, the pinned comment below, or scan the QR code on the screen, you get 83% off plus 4 months for free when you click the link down below in the description. You also get a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is phenomenal. Thank you, Private Internet Access, for sponsoring today's video. Then we got to shift away from tariffs and we got to talk about Iran, because tensions very much are picking up, more military action, and the deadline is very much approaching.
Iran is a hot spot right now, and they're meeting, and they have a good relationship with the representatives of Iran, and, you know, good talks are being had. It's proven to be, over the years, not easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise bad things happen. But we have to make a meaningful deal. Now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
In this map that we've created, what you see are all of the various elements of the, quote, armada that President Trump has talked about: aircraft carriers, destroyers, support, air bases, and beyond. What does this map say to you about the imminency of this attack?
Well, certainly we're preparing, for quite a significant air campaign here. I mean, the operation would be limited by the sense that we're not doing a ground operation to change the regime out. We're going to use a quite significant air campaign. That means airplanes as well as missiles to set the conditions for a regime change. And that's what you see unfolding on your map there. And there's two purposes for that armada to be there. One is to conduct an offensive operation that would be comprehensive in the sense of civilian and military leaders, the entire infrastructure that sustains the regime, from the IRGC to the repressive elements of the Basile militia that represses the people, the police themselves, and the ballistic missile program, their short-range rockets, and the thousands of drones that they have.
So we haven't so far seen this weekend any sort of attack or defense from or by the United States. So that kind of gives us a better idea that it's unlikely that any crazy military action is going to take place this week. And I think things are going to really pick up on Friday coming up. But that's my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Spotted in Portugal was U.S. surveillance, refueling, and airlift aircraft. You can see here, America is not messing around. The whole shebang, the whole fleet seems to be ready to go. Then we got to take a look at the American athlete who's been quite disrespectful to the United States. So you all remember this guy right here who said this at a press conference a couple weeks ago?
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Yeah, shut the hell up and then go move to somewhere else. So the American free skier Hunter Hess, he tries trolling President Trump by flashing a backwards L sign after his successful run in the Olympic halfpipe qualifying, only to finish 10th place in the finals. Apparently, I'm a loser, he said when he was referencing President Trump's comments. At the beginning of this year's Winter Olympics, Hess from Bend, Oregon, said that representing the U.S. brought up mixed emotions. And then when you compare that to this young lady here who just won a medal at the Olympics for figure skating, leftists are absolutely seething after the American figure skater Elisa Liu and her father, who escaped the Chinese Communist Party, both draped themselves in the American flag during her Olympic gold celebration. They only like Team USA players who hate America. And you can see the father at the top of the screen who had the American flag. And you can see the photo that she took on the podium with her gold medal wearing the American flag. So there you go, folks. There you go. There's a difference of somebody who loves their country versus somebody like Hunter who hates their country. And since we are talking about Olympics drama, I have to include the Canadians, because this Canadian skier had this to say about the weather.
Honestly, like, the weather is ridiculous. It is a joke. Like, I bet you I don't know what the times are, but it's got to be like 10 to 15 seconds slower. It's a completely different course. Like...
Okay, that's not the only drama from Canadian Olympic athletes. You also have the freaking curling team. The Canada's men's curling team has apparently won gold after being accused of cheating their way through the Winter Olympics. The team is now gloating, telling people who accuse them of cheating to get a picture of them hugging each other burned into your brain. For anyone who called us cheaters, for anyone who said negative things about Mark Kennedy, about us, about Canada, about our families, I hope that the image of us standing on top of the podium, embracing one another, smiling ear to ear with our gold medals is burned into your brains forever. And this is the drama right here at the bottom of the screen where you can see clearly the Canadian curling men's team. They touched the curling puck or whatever the hell it's called, and it had already crossed the line or was in process of crossing the line. It's extremely controversial. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about curling. I know more than not more than the average person. I know just as much as the average person who got invested in this drama here on social media over the past week. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going on at the Olympics. And we're going to wrap it up with what's going on in Texas, because there's been a explosion of mosques that are popping up everywhere.
I'm going to tell you why it's always important to follow the money, and we're going to start with a Pakistani man named Syed Havad Anwar. Now, Anwar was elected to the Texas Board of Higher Education in 2015 by Greg Abbott. Now, who is this random Pakistani man? He's actually the owner of Midland Energy. Midland Energy obviously produces oil and gas for the state of Texas, and although appointed in 2015 to the Texas Board of Higher Education, in 2020 you'll be glad to know that he was Greg Abbott's top donor of $5,599,500 for the 2020 election. But wait, it gets better, because in 2024 he was also the top donor with $6,120,268. But wait, it gets even better, because in Greg Abbott's current election cycle, this man has already became the top donor with a whopping $2,897,086. Wow. Now, with a Pakistani man being his top donor, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So if you're ever sitting here questioning why Greg Abbott isn't putting a stop to the Islamic invasion happening in Texas, there's your answer. I'm going to tell you.
Whew, that's a lot of mosques that have popped up in Texas, right? That's pretty wild. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That does conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, it'd mean the world to me for you guys to take the time right now. It's absolutely free to do, to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you tune in tomorrow for a follow-up update on what's going on between more Olympic drama, Team Canada versus Team USA, duking it out in hockey. I wish both teams good luck, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye for now.